What's going on? Oh, good. We have both microphones. We're live on both Instagram at Jaw the Harp and also on the YouTube channel Bebcorp Harpery. So welcome to Saturday Night Jaw Harp Live, where we are playing jaw harp and jaw harp style or mouth resonating style musical instrument. I've been hammered a little bit on the Dan Moy. Let me know below in the comments. Have you been liking the Dan Moy tutorials? I may do more of them. I may not. Just seem like, oh, I've done a lot for tooth played harps. I haven't done a lot for lip played harps. I might even do a Susap and Corinding tutorial as well. And what harps have you been into? What have you been playing? What's been good in your neck of the woods? Night Clover says hello. Hello back at you. We need to move. There we go. I think that's more better. Well, that is actually backwards, but it played just fine. Normally I leave the curled end touching my lips. But for some reason I played it this way and it played just fine. Mr. Mash MM says, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Morsing Man, hello. Be sure to follow Morsing Man. I do believe he's a Morsing player. Brian Ayers just got some Dan Moy, actually. Oh, cool. Which ones did you get? My favorite so far are the double ones. Oh, hello, Mark Scholl. How are you doing? I'm wearing another shirt with a fictitious beverage. Holler below if you know what TV show this fictitious beverage comes from. I am very well, bro, says Morsing Man. There I'm just like if I was to be saying hoo ha hoo ha hoo ha hoo ha, but I'm just giving it out and in puff of breath. You know, I want the pitch higher. I keep my tongue higher, and then I'll start doing that, dropping my tongue lower and lower. There's a it's a hoo, but it's a hoo outward and a hoo inward. Oh, good. Hello, welcome, Jason Voorhees. Or Jay Voorhees, it says. Man, that's a nice playing Dan Moy. I think I'm getting some clicks out of it. I'm playing it pretty aggressively. Sometimes they tend to deform off a little bit to one side. But yeah, they can be enjoyable for quite a while. I've been playing some bassy harps, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, some Vargan, some Drimba. I played one or two Homus. Homus? Is it Homus or Humus? Mark Scholl's wondering about the altitude of Jay Voorhees.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play a similar thing on this as well. Woo hoo wow 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 woo wow. Dead President's ENT says, with the sounds. Oh, really? I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, that's kind of what it's like to play the instrument. It is a interesting experience to firsthand play a jaw harp. It's probably a little bit more immersive than what you would hear because you are making sound in your head and your brain is rattling a little bit. And this is a cool effect. Check out if you have like a microwave or something with like a digital display, a digital readout, or a toaster or something. Look at it and play the harp, or like the digital readout on your grill. You can see the your eyeballs moving if you look at it. But if you're just looking around the room or looking at a screen when you play, you really don't notice it. But I've noticed it the most on digital screens. So take your harp, go play it in front of like the microwave, the little digital readout, or your oven. Your oven time is another one. Play the harp. You can actually see it a lot of the times move. So that's saying that either your visions moving a little bit and you're just correcting it, or maybe your eyeballs are vibrating a little bit. I'm not sure. Jamie says, why? Mark Shaw says, Jamie, why is it difficult sometimes to match breath to a harp? I don't know. I think every harp, when you play it, feel it out a little bit where it likes to be breathed at. But also, if the gaps on a harp are tight and it's easy to play dynamically, I find that it's easy to match up breath. So I have a little bit of wiggle room where I can pluck it and how hard I can pluck it, and also a good back pressure to bounce against. Because I'm like a Gorka. Gorka or not? Where's a Gorka? I don't know where my Gorka's at. Gorka aren't super you have a lot of back pressure because the gaps are, tight, but they're not super tight. So you can breathe them a little bit more aggressively. And if you're running into problems, having too much air in the lungs or too much air out of the lungs, and you're breathing I'm breathing really aggressively. And if you lean more on an in breath or an out breath, and you end up migrating more air out of your lungs or into your lungs, I like to even out that pressure by bringing my lips off the harp and sucking a breath of air in really quickly, or taking my lips off the jaw harp and go getting a breath back. Let's see. And I oftentimes will sneak them in at the end of like what I'd call a phrase. I don't know. Is there such a thing as a musical phrase where you're do 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 do? Because that little end of the phrase that you're doing, and then there's a return back to what you were playing before. That's a good place to bring your lips off and sneak an in breath in or an out breath out to equalize. Oh, hello. Be sure to follow Tyrone Zone 5 before he does Jerome Betherium. Hello, Tyrone Zone. Mr. Hugo says, just discovered you got some serious talent. Well, I don't know if I have talent. I'm just passionate about the jaw harp, so it makes me play it a lot. And I've spent a lot of time playing it, so I'm fairly comfortable playing in styles that I play in. But like one thing that's different is that I don't get a lot of time to play with bands or play with other people. So at musical festivals, it's a little bit of a learning thing for me to play around other people. Another harp I made. And harps with a lot of back pressure and really, where's a Sean Jones? Here's one of the new Sean Jones. You don't breathe as much, so a lot of times I'm sneaking breaths around it because I'm not doing that really aggressive breathing. Here, I'll do some aggressive breathing on one of my harps. And it's got pretty decent back pressure too. Do you get the same sound with the longer original traditional instrument? Every instrument sounds differently. I play a lot of mid-rangey ones. I'll play some super high ones and play a couple super low ones, so you can see. But you can have a super low instrument like a Parmapole, like a G0 Parmapole is only this long, and that G0 Parmapole is a lot deeper than like this much larger Vescovich Monstro. So like different attributes or different forms of how you do a tongue or a reed on a jar, how thick it is, how it's tapered, how much weight you have in this first third and where and why, and how much weight you have, and also the shape. Some harps have a little bit more of a dramatic taper, some have a almost flat like taper, and some have no counterweight up here, some have a lot more mass, spiraled, or sometimes even a solder ball in there. So there's a lot of different attributes that can make a harp high pitched versus low pitched. I have a Parmapole in the key of high G. Now, is that G2 or is that G3? Because I think he might make all the way up to G3, which a G3 would be like a so high pitch, you'd be like, ding. That's not, I didn't make the correct sound for a G3, but yeah, it's a very high pitched noise, I would imagine. There, I do have a decent amount of back pressure to bounce off of, but I'm also breathing fairly hard there, so I'm bringing my lips off there to you. There's a lot of things you can do with bringing your lips off to help match breath so that you can breathe comfortably, because one thing about breathing a rhythm on a jar, you want to be able to do it comfortably and repetitively and just be able to flow on it. So if you need to equalize air in or out, bring your lips off it. Try that. Because if I'm not comfortable in my breathing patterns, my jaw harp rhythm isn't going to be good and it's not going to sound well. Because whenever you're uncomfortable, that will translate out into the harp. So if you want to match your breath to the harp, I would say first, be comfortable with the breathing, with bringing your lips off, with having your lips on the harp, with how you're breathing, where your breaths are in, where your breaths are outward. Can you get more sustain from a stiffer reed? No, stiffer reeds oftentimes have less sustain because they have more rigidity. A harp that has a very, very flexible reed will vibrate for longer. In general, depending on how much weight you have in the last third of it, especially past the knee bend of the trigger, and also how much weight you have up here. Are you thinning it? On my harps, I start thinning it out about here. It's tapering in this dimension, but it's also tapering from here. I'm leaving it flat on the back, and I'm tapering it and getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Here, I started out at 0.025 and went all the way to the tip. I think I got it down to about 0.014 or 13 at the tip. So it's tapering. It's like distally tapered on one side. I get good sustain, but also good bounce, and they play very stable when you do that, if you do it correctly. Here, I'm going to be comfortable in the breath, Marshall. I'm just going to be like, whee, like if I was saying, whee, whee, yo, wah, whee, whee, yo, wah. If I can sing it, I know I can start doing out and in breaths. Whee, whee, yo, wah, whee, whee, yo, wah, whee. See, I'm bringing my lips off and I'm sneaking some other breaths in there, and it's fitting in that rhythm, so I'm able to do that for a long period of time. Ooh, I like that. It's like I'm going whee whee yo, well whee whee yo, but there's that little squeal in there because it would be like I was saying, my tongue is really coming up and cupping the top of my mouth. Hamid, oh, he says WTF Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh yeah, I see people commenting WTF sometimes and all the time, and I always think, oh, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I like those days of the week. WTF Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's see, what else should we play? Oh, we're gonna go down in pitch. Let's play this new Sean Jones. I'm gonna have the unboxing for it up in a couple of weeks. Got some cool unboxings, some cool tutorials coming out. If you have any requests on things for the Harp you want to see, even Harp builds, stuff like that, comment them below. This is Sean Jones Untuned Bass. And it's got a little bit more, his gaps are a little bit tighter on his harps. He's got a little bit more back pressure than mine. So I'm going to be bringing my lips off probably even more so that I can give aggressive little puffs of air. I like when I breathe, it's not oftentimes, it's little puffs of air. Little puffs of air. Yeah, and Mark Scholl says, I guess the faster I play a tight gap to get breathing too hard. Yeah, I guess the faster I play a tight gap to get breathing too hard. Yeah, it is easy to breathe too hard. But here's another thing that I do. When I'm breathing hard, very seldom is my tongue like clear at the bottom. Like if I was like that, because there's not much resistance to it. I can't bounce in and out breaths quickly that way. What I'm doing, look at my tongue, and my tongue kind of needs to be up to this, but it's like if you go, I just want you to hiss like a cat. Try this. With your tongue kind of forming a little thing. That's what I'm doing when I'm giving those little puffs of air. Like if I was going wee wee and giving myself some back pressure and moving my tongue a little bit so I can more effectively kind of control the breaths. Because like if your tongue's down, you don't have resistance to bounce against as much. So use your tongue too to slow your breaths down and bring your lips off as well. And they're really, this harp's really loud, just my lips coming on and off it, because we got really tight gaps here for the majority of this embouchure, which is really long. It's quite impressive when people get nice, consistent, long gapped harps, especially on bass like this the whole way. Hi, Jeffrey. Love my art. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing that drawing. I draw on that pegboard, which is kind of like a dry erase board, but not quite. And with a whole bunch of different colored Sharpies, and I'll go there. And what I like to do when I draw like that is I'll take and I'll just randomly mark on the wall, just whatever I feel like, just do marks on the wall, and then I'll come back with a different color, and I'll be like, oh, well, that looks like a face there, or that looks like a part of the outside of a tree or the side of a moose, just like, oh, I'll start drawing with this, and then I'll come with another color, and every time I look at it, I try to find something different. So they're kind of like a Rorschach test when I do art. When you look at it, if you focus in on any part, you can start seeing faces and forms, and there's stuff that I've added in there there on purpose, but there's also stuff in there that appears randomly. You could check out my post. I put it on Instagram and on the YouTube. That mushroom that popped up in the picture, and it's like zoom as you zoom in, you see like a perfectly drawn mushroom that's there just from the marker in different colors the way I marked it. And I didn't actually put that in there. That was just random happenstance. But yeah, I like doing it that way. I got that from Neil Gaiman, the writer of American Gods and a bunch of books. Said like when he does his first draft on his novels, he feels like it's throwing mud against a wall, and then you start forming that mud to faces and all that and forms. Same thing with art for me. I just do random scribbles and I start looking. And I'm like, oh, that could be this or that could be this. I had better luck with creating stuff that way in lieu of trying to actively create. Oh, this is just going to be a picture of this thing. See, we'll play one more. Let's play a really high-pitched harp. There's one with a stiffer reed, and somebody commented earlier, dropping beeswax to drop the tone. Yes, that will drop the tone. Whenever you weight the reed with beeswax or any type of weight, it's going to give you more sustain. It oftentimes decreases the volume slightly, or decreases it the more that you put a weight on there, and it also drops the pitch a little bit. So you can actually, if you have an untuned harp and it's above a note, you can this is temporary and reversible. You can put beeswax in there, because the beeswax will stay in there for as long as you press it in there. Put beeswax in there and pinch it in there, and then play it dong dong dong. Okay, now you've dropped below the note G2, and then take and shave off with a knife or something a tiny amount of beeswax. Play it. Okay, you're raise up, and then you can hit the note. So you can drop under a note and then raise to note is another way to do it as well. Oh yeah, the console, which I originally mistakenly described as balance. It's not the balance. Hold on, let me grab that. Hold on. Okay, where are you, Raj? I will grab that. Well, actually, I don't know where that harp's at right now. That's okay. Yeah, the console harp by Salagi. And there are Salagi Blackfire now up on the harpery.com. Harpery.com. Great Porky Miller. There are Salagi Blackfire up there as well. And I ordered some more of these from Aaron, the New Siberia. Yeah, I don't remember where I put my console at. But yeah, it has an interesting frame because it's partially like flattened. It says a Mohan Rajasthani Morchung. This is going to be stiffer reeded. This one's stiffer reed, like the harps I was playing before don't have as stiff as reeds the harps I make. See, much more flexible. Here's a stiffer reeded Morchung with not a lot of weight there at the end. Now, if you would have put a spiral in this, it'd still feel stiff, but it'd have a lot more sustain. This is like ding, ding, ding. It's that really high pitched piercing sound. And Mohan in general are pretty loud until you get like bass, and then like it's really deep bass. That's the last harp we'll play. Solaire Faye 916 says, "Have you ever heard the tale of the living jaw harp?" I have not. You should comment that below. This video is about ready to end, but yeah, after this video ends, be sure to comment it below. The tale of the living jaw harp. Is it a story you came up with, or a story from somewhere? And Tyrone Zone 5 says, "I still have my beautiful Blackfires, A2, A1, C sharp, and F1. I've got a... Where's my Blackfire? I think they're all over there. I played the Blackfires, or the Salagi that I do have for like 3 weeks, and then I've rotated on to a few other harps. Anyways, I love y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean and keep them dry, keep them oiled, and most of all, be good to each other. Harp out, and I will see you next Saturday for Saturday Night Jaw Harp Live. We got such good content coming up, and if anybody has any content ideas or questions they'd like to have answered, be sure to comment below after this ends. Love y'all. Harp out. Oh yeah, we'll end it with a Dan. Start with the Dan Moy, end with the Dan Moy. And it's springtime here in Kansas, and you can tell it is. And here pretty soon it's going to be sunny enough out that we can make sun tea. Excited for that. Love y'all. Harp out. Yeah, I'm so happy you got to make it, Tyrozone 5. Be sure to follow Tyrozone 5, who's commenting below on Instagram and TikTok. You can find him at Jerome Betherium. Love y'all. Harp out. I will see you next Saturday for Saturday Night Jaw Harp Live. And I'll see some of you Sunday Night Jaw Harp Live on the Harpery YouTube channel and also TikTok at Jaw the Harp. Adios.